So one of our objectives as a church, our vision into action strategy, is to bring life in all its fullness to the people around us. And one of those ways that we can bring life in all its fullness is to relieve people of their debt. And today I'm talking to Rachel Martin, who heads up our Christians Against Poverty Centre that covers the whole of St Albans. And Rachel has been doing that role with CAP for something like 7 years. So welcome, Rachel.
Thank you.
Tell us, what does Christians Against Poverty do, and how do you actually operate?
Okay, Christians Against Poverty has several lines to it, really. Within St Albans and St Paul's, we are part of providing debt work, which is sort of one-on-one or one family with one of us. We also run life skills, which is training people in better budgeting, making money go further, just things probably that they've not been taught before, cooking on a budget, but also cooking healthily. And we run CAP Money courses, which we run student versions of as well, and they are budgeting courses.
So is debt a big problem in St Albans? Isn't St Albans generally a very affluent place?
I thought that till I started working with CAP. It has pockets like anywhere else. Because we cover all the AL postcodes, we pick up Hatfield as well, where possibly there's a bigger need for our services even. But no, St Albans is a country, is a city with quite a lot of debt. What we're also finding now is that because we had people earning big fat salaries in London, they've cut their cloth accordingly, lost their jobs, been unable to get another one, and actually their level of debt has spiraled very quickly. So there is a huge need in St Albans.
Has the pandemic made things worse or better, or how has it changed things?
Yeah, it's really had a detrimental effect on the mental health of our clients who are currently using food banks, but a lot of the support services they've accessed through the food banks are not running because we haven't been able to be in there. They're really struggling to just concentrate on doing anything. They've had the kids around. It's affected benefits. They can't go and talk to work coaches in the job centre. So it has truly been a really tricky time for these people.
So just to give us an idea of the scale of this, in the 7 years you've been doing this job, how many people, how many families have you been able to see go debt free?
Okay, a tricky question because nearly all of our stats are anonymised for GDPR. I've done a rough count up and I think it's between 50 and 70 families. Sometimes it might have been 2 people, 2 adults in a family, other times maybe it was a single parent. But I think at this point, I'd want to say that that's only a small part of our work. What we're really trying to do is just to show these people that they're not being judged every step of the way. We're trying to educate them. We're trying to show them unconditional love. And obviously, we're also trying to get them to come to know God. And most people are very open to prayer. We've seen people baptised. We've definitely seen people come through church because of that. So only a small part of our job is the debt. The other part of it is providing a crutch, if you like, building relationships. Some people will get debt free in maybe 3 to 6 months, but some of them we've been journeying with for 4 or 5 years. So we really get to be part of their lives.
So gosh, Rachel, even with those figures that you can't be very specific with, that could be many, possibly hundreds of lives that have been touched through the work of CAP over those years?
Yes, and places where you wouldn't expect. I mean, I can say as a general thing, but nothing more specific, that there are people within St Paul's that we've worked with. And yet, if you turned to meet you or me and said, do you think people in St Paul's have an issue with debt? We'd probably say no. So, yeah.
So what can we do as a church, as Christians, to support what you're doing, Rachel?
Well, I think the biggest single thing is to pray. We work on a model that shouldn't really work. I think if we put it together as a business model, probably people would throw their hands up in horror. but it works, and we know it works because we know that God is at the heart of this. So to pray that we're reaching out into the right areas, that we're targeting the right places for referrals. Pray for safety for us as we work as well. We do go into some quite tricky positions. We have to check on occasions that there's not needles, there's not drugs. We do risk assessments. You don't need to hear about all of that, but safety is obviously paramount, both for us and for our clients, because often once they've got involved in drugs or something, they're targeted. I think another huge prayer right now is that the bailiffs are going to be let out to start doing evictions again later on this month. People have sort of not been too worried about the rent they haven't been paying for the last probably 12, 15 months. That's all going to change. So yeah, prayer is the fundamental thing. I think St Paul's is very good. I often put what look like fairly random requests on our Facebook page, but that's when we've got clients that need stair gates, buggies, all sorts of things. And you're all brilliant at responding to those. So please do keep an eye on that. And yeah, if you've got anything that you think can help us with, you can always approach me directly. Finances, I guess, is another big issue. We can have money given directly to St Paul's for use locally, but we also need to fund our head office staff. They are actually paid staff, and without them, we couldn't do our jobs because they're the lawyers, the accountants, the clever bods, I guess, at one level. So yeah, finances both locally and nationally for CAP. And I think as we start now to be looking towards going back into people's homes, we're obviously going to be working in pairs again. While we've been doing it by phone, it's been perfectly safe for it to be just me. It's not good practice. It's not allowed when we're visiting in homes. So we will be looking at, I think, picking up our befriender team that's already in place and adding to that. And also, if anybody has practical skills like gardening or DIY or anything, we'd love to know about you, because sometimes we get somebody in a right fix and actually all they really need is a tap replacing or, I don't know, something fixing. And obviously funds are not there to employ outside services, but if we can find people with skills or people who'd like to make a birthday cake, cook the occasional meal, anything like that, there's nothing too big or too small.
Rachel, thank you just for giving us this snapshot of the work that you do, working with others, really bringing that life in all its fullness to the people of St Albans. So thank you very much for all that you do and for telling us about it today.
Thank you.